Sunday Fun Day fam, 25K incoming. Welcome to pod episode number 1199. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis, as well as ShapeShift response to Senator Elizabeth Warren's comments to set the record straight. You already know how I feel about Senator Elizabeth Warren. Also in today's show, how the Ordinal movement will benefit the Bitcoin blockchain as the NFT craze continues. Also in today's show, we'll be discussing the SEC clampdown, has crypto space Abuzz, as Pantera Capital says we're in a bull market, and much more. Also in today's show, I'll be sharing the latest with the Brazilian government to clarify the Bitcoin law with a new decree in Brazil. That's right, the Brazilian government is set to issue a decree that modifies some of the rules established in the Bitcoin law, which was approved in November of 2022 by the former president. Also in today's show, we'll be discussing top trader issuing a Bitcoin alert and warning that Bitcoin can witness $100 billion in cascading long liquidations. I'll also be sharing with you a very bullish scenario, quoting crypto analyst Josh Rager. In my opinion, Bitcoin over the next few years, since I asked others, peak high no higher than 120 to 150,000 sometime in 2025. Basically similar to the previous cycles, followed by multi-year bear market, no super cycle, just the same market cycle repeated, followed by negative 80% prices. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. Welcome to pod episode 1199. I'm your host JV. Today is February 19th, 2023. And as you can see, we are pumping. I'm expecting and anticipating a 25,000 price action during today's live. What, we're like $40 away at the current moment. So let's check out the overall crypto market here on Coin360. We can see Bitcoin up 1% for the day, hovering just under 25,000. We have Ether up 0.5%. Trading at around $1,700. The biggest gainers are Solana, Polkadot, and Filecoin, along with Uniswap. Also checking out CoinMarketCap.com, we can see the current crypto market cap sitting at roughly $1.1 trillion with $45.5 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance at 42.5% and the Ether dominance at 18.5%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, Filecoin leading the pack, up 23%, trading at $9.22, followed by Stacks, up 15%, trading just under 40 cents, followed by Compound, up 12%, trading just under $62. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, Floki, up a whopping 121%, thanks to Elon Musk pumping it. We have Clay, up 65%, and Filecoin, up a whopping 81% as the massive gains continue in the altcoin market. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 60 in greed, the same as yesterday. Last week we were in the middle with a 50, which is neutral, and last month also a 51, which is neutral. So let me know how many of you are currently bullish on the King Crypto. And now let's actually dive right into the latest of what's happening with Elizabeth Warren. I actually covered this the other day, yesterday, and I shared some tweets from Max Kaiser on how he really feels about Elizabeth Warren, and it's uncensored. I can't even repeat what he said about her, but I'm in agreement 100%. And now here's what the ShapeShift CEO Eric Voorhees has to think about her and her unlawful regulation. Let's break it down. Non-custodial crypto platform ShapeShift refuted U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren's claims of illicit financing, suggesting that she used the platform as a scapegoat to push her latest crypto bill, according to the recent statement. ShapeShift stated in a tweet February 19th that Warren made mistakes in her analysis of the platform at a recent Senate Banking Committee hearing entitled Crypto Crash: Why Financial System Safeguards Are Needed for Digital Assets on Valentine's Day, February 14th. That's right, she attempted to use ShapeShift as an example to push her latest crypto bill, but unfortunately there were mistakes in the senator's analysis, and we'd like to take the opportunity to set the record straight. So let's get it. In a follow-up tweet, ShapeShift denied Warren's comments regarding its involvement with illicit financing, stating it never handled user funds and has no ability to facilitate this. This comes after Warren suggested at the Senate hearing that ShapeShift had ulterior motives for restructuring itself as a DeFi platform in July of 2021. Warren suggested that the restructure was to encourage people to launder money on the platform, which we all know is not accurate. ShapeShift also clarified that it is not an exchange, elaborating it's an open source crypto dashboard that connects users to different protocols and platforms. Facts. It added that it cares about the same things as Warren, citing user safety and access to innovation as a mutual focus. ShapeShift encouraged Warren and others to constructively engage in the topic of financial freedom and innovation with its community, sharing a link to its discussion forum. This comes the day after Eric Voorhees, the CEO of ShapeShift, took to his personal Twitter February 18th, stating he is looking forward to Warren submitting a proposal to ShapeShift DAO governance process in response to her criticism of the platform. Warren has been a vocal crypto skeptic in recent times, having made comments in an interview January 25th suggesting the United States SEC should double down on its crypto enforcement efforts. No, please don't, as the crypto industry is scared of what's coming next. She claimed that the previous SEC administration essentially gave the green light to open up the crypto market full of junk tokens, unregistered security, rug pulls, Ponzi schemes, pump and dumps, money laundering, and sanction evasions. Now, we all know how I feel regarding the unlawful regulation which they're trying to usher into the industry, and we all know the biggest use of illicit funds is the United States dollar. So we don't need to talk about Bitcoin being used for illicit activities. When we run the math, it's like less than 0.5% of the total, where with US dollars, the majority is probably being used for illicit purposes. You know what I mean? And that, my friend, is a fact. So we know it's nothing more than FUD at the end of the day. But with that being shared, how many of you have ever used ShapeShift? Let me know in the comments below. And what are your thoughts on this DeFi exchange? And with that being shared, now let's dive into the latest craze, what's happening with the Bitcoin NFTs, which is making the network go absolutely bonkers right now. Let's break this down. Bitcoin Ordinals, check it. According to the independent developer UD Wertheimer, Bitcoin's NFTs will positively impact the ecosystem by improving its security and incentivizing developers to build on the network. Also like to point out that Bitcoin's hash rate just hit yet another all-time high, and as we know, the Bitcoin price tends to follow the hash rate as a lagging indicator. The number of newly created Ordinals has been spiking in the recent weeks, causing a surge of transaction fees and average block size on the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, according to Wertheimer, Bitcoin NFTs are going to be beneficial for Bitcoin's security budget by driving up the transaction fees. The creation of Ordinals will incentivize miners to secure the network, while the revenue from mining rewards will decrease with each Bitcoin halving, quoting them here, because the block space is scarce and because there is a demand for stuff like inscriptions. There is a lot of hope that we'll get enough people who want to pay fees in order to keep the Bitcoin network secure. Also, he noted that Ordinals provide a new use case to make building on Bitcoin commercially profitable. As he points out, with all the interest around Ordinals and inscriptions, I expect there's going to be a very big ecosystem that is built around that. Now, he also discusses the notion held by some Bitcoin core developers that creating NFTs is not an appropriate use case for Bitcoin, but according to him, in the recent years, Bitcoin core developers have ignored what actual Bitcoin users want. And to learn more about Ordinals and how they impact the Bitcoin network, you can check out the full interview, which I'll include in the show notes below the video in the description. Now, let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss what's popping and what's happening regarding the SEC clampdown and the latest of what's happening and what could anticipate further this week in the Bitcoin space. Let's break it down, shall we? And shout out to CZ, Binance CEO. Now, Binance CZ had warned of a profound impact on the crypto industry if stablecoin BUSD is ruled as a security. His warning followed an alleged lawsuit by the US SEC against Paxos, the issuer of Binance USD. The crypto world was jolted last week when the SEC shut down Kraken's staking program, much to the satisfaction of the chairman, Gary Gensler, and his team. But what does this mean for the future of crypto, and more specifically for staking? And there we have Do Kwon, who has also recently been charged by the SEC. The United States SEC charged Terraform Labs and its CEO, Do Kwon, with fraud, alleging that Kwon and his company orchestrated a multi-billion-dollar crypto asset securities fraud, which is a fact, but where was the SEC to protect us before this happened? You know what I mean? It's like a year later. So what are you actually doing at this time? You didn't help prevent this whatsoever. The securities watchdog insists that Kwon raised billions from investors by creating an interconnected suite of crypto asset securities, many of which were involved in unregistered transactions. That's right. And also, the government of South Sudan reportedly prohibited US dollar-based transactions and has directed that all local payments be settled in their local currency. The Salva Kiir Mayardit government reportedly said it wants all signed commercial contracts to be based on local cryptocurrency. And crypto-focused investment firm Pantera Capital says Bitcoin has seen its lows and we're in the next bull market cycle. Let me know if you agree or disagree with their CEO, Dan Morehead, the firm's founder and managing partner. He noted over the long term, Bitcoin price has been in a secular uptrend of 2.3x annually over the past 12 years on average. That, my friend, is a fact. And as Adam Back, the Blockstream CEO, pointed out, if we continue on this trajectory, the Bitcoin price can realistically hit a $10 million price target like within the next 10 years. So hopefully we can continue to 2x annually. I think that is phenomenal. Also keep in mind, Bitcoin is the greatest performing asset in the world, in world history, that we have ever witnessed, going from virtually nothing to now being worth $25,000 per coin. That's right. We're on the cusp of eclipsing that $25,000 target as we're live right now, which does nothing but just pump me up. So with that being shared, any moment now. With that being shared, now let's dive into the latest update from the Bitcoin law going on in Brazil. Then we will discuss a potential $100 billion in long cascading liquidations, followed by a very optimistic prediction of a $120,000 to $150,000 Bitcoin price target here in our scope. And as you can see, we just crossed the $25,000 mark. So congratulations to everyone. I also want to say I appreciate the super chat contributions. You guys in this in the live chat are amazing and inspire me to do this show every day. So thank you. So with that being shared, let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss what is happening right now inside of Brazil. The Brazilian government is set to issue a decree that modifies some of the rules established in the Bitcoin law approved in November of 2022 by their former president. This move comes in line with the recent developments taken by their president Lula da Silva in the recent weeks. With barely a month in office, the new president has stamped his authority by signing in a series of decrees and measures to change what the previous government established. Lula's team is now working on new proposals to regulate the crypto sector and clarify existing crypto laws. And according to local reports, the government has formed an extensive group to oversee the regulation, including the executive secretary of the Ministry of Finance, as well as the Secretary of Economic Reforms. And in addition, the regulation has the technical support of the central bank and the Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission. And the initial expectation was that the decree would be sent at the beginning of February to the presidency of the Republic, known as Casa Civil, but this was postponed. Meanwhile, the crypto industry is waiting for the decree, probably with more attention on the institution that will be the primary regulator of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Now, previously, it had been mentioned that the central bank would be the entity in charge of regulating the crypto sector. However, Lula's recent attacks against the financial institution have cast some doubts. How many of you are living in Brazil? What are your thoughts surrounding all this? Let me know in the comments below. Now, last month, the president of Brazil questioned whether the autonomy of the central bank served the national interest, and although he later seemed to retract it, he indicated that he would review its independence to make a decision from 2021. But the core focus of the new regulations would be drafting new rules regulating different factors of the crypto industry. They are expectations that the new decree would clarify the laws regulating the crypto industry in Brazil, a proposed law that had been widely debated in its requirements of crypto exchanges and brokers to segregate their assets. This measure has been subject of discussions by lawmakers and proposes that crypto asset brokers separate their funds from clients' deposits. Meanwhile, proponents of the regulation believe that it would prevent users' cryptos from being mixed into the operation of exchanges and other service providers. The collapse of FTX is cited as a significant factor when users cannot withdraw their funds due to the harmful trading activities from the exchange. Now, the proposal was initially approved when the bill passed the Senate, but was later annulled because it divided the legislators of the Chamber of Deputies. However, it's expected to be a vital component on the proposed Bitcoin decree. Now, Brazil is regarded as one of the nations with widespread crypto use. Last November, it took a significant step when it recognized Bitcoin as a medium of payment and even as an investment asset. Now, the Bitcoin price, as you can see, we're currently trading at roughly $25,000. I also like to point out that unlike El Salvador, Brazil is a massive nation with a population of over 200 million people. So I can only imagine the mass Bitcoin adoption that could come from a favorable bill with Bitcoin adoption. So it'll be interesting to see oh my God, we're now at 25.2 almost, so I'm pretty pumped up. We're going to be heading to 26,000 before the end of the show, it looks like. So let's keep the pumpage moving, shall we? But anyways, I hope the Bitcoin adoption continues all around the world as the game theory continues in full effect. Now let's discuss our next story of the day, before we get to this $150,000 Bitcoin price prediction, let's discuss a potential $100 billion in cascading long liquidation so we can cover all the scenarios. Justin Bennett tells his 111,000 Twitter followers he believes Bitcoin is likely traded in an expanding wedge pattern that could correct to around 20,000 after hitting the formation's diagonal resistance, quoting him here, a bit higher than I thought we might see, but I still think we get a pullback from BTC. Apes gonna ape, and he shares this chart. Bennett notes that billions of dollars worth of long positions are waiting to be liquidated below 20,800, suggesting that market makers could drive the price of Bitcoin down to tap into the deep liquidity area. Quoting him here, over $100 billion, yes, billion, worth of Bitcoin longs left untouched at 20,800. What could it mean? And while Bennett sees a significant corrective move for Bitcoin, fellow analyst Recht believes that Bitcoin could be gearing up for a big breakout on the monthly time frame. That's right, I think we are as well. Quoting him here, looking forward to the next few months for BTC. Send it. Let's go. Looking at the trader's chart, he appears to be suggesting Bitcoin could be mirroring its late 2024 and early 2019 price action. For both instances, Bitcoin broke down from a descending triangle pattern before eventually taking out a key diagonal resistance. So in the short term, Rec Capital predicts that Bitcoin could retest resistance at around 23.3 before continuing its upward uptrend. Quoting him here, Bitcoin performed a successful retest of the confluent resistance area on the daily chart. That being said, there could still be another dip to the same area after a weekly close. That would constitute a healthy technical retest setup, but this time on the weekly time frame. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst. And now for a more optimistic, bullish prediction of a peak high of between $120,000 and $150,000 sometime in 2025. Quoting crypto analyst Josh Rager, just my opinion on Bitcoin over the next few years since I asked others. Peak high no higher than $120,000 to $150,000 sometime in 2025. Basically similar to the previous cycles, followed by multi-year bear market. No super cycle, just the same market cycle repeated, followed by a negative 80% price. And he continues, will this happen? Maybe not. Personally, just an opinion, so don't take it for anything more than that. And someone responded, but bruh, mass adoption this time will be different. Someone else responded, seems logical to me. Who wouldn't like a new low for a few years to be $50,000 to $70,000? That's right. I mean, personally, I cannot wait. But also keep in mind, theoretically, we don't have to wait till 2025 to see an all-time high of six figures. It can still potentially happen this year. There's wild cards. Anything can happen. And especially considering that the Bitcoin halving is coming up around the corner in 2024, that's typically the year markets start to go parabolic. And the year preceding the halving is when the market hits the peak high if history repeats, or as they say, if we don't repeat, at least if history rhymes, then we can likely see the same thing. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Also like to point out that Credible Crypto is also calling for $150,000 Bitcoin price this year in 2023. Max Kaiser also calling for a new all-time high this year in 2023. He says Bitcoin is doing its own thing on its own trajectory and everything else is completely irrelevant. Also like to point out Stock to Flow model, Plan B, creator of the Bitcoin Stock to Flow model, is predicting a six-figure Bitcoin price sometime between 2024 and 2025. So the bigger picture, six-figure Bitcoin price is inevitable, only a matter of time. The question is, when will it occur? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. And with that being shared, now let's dive into the live Q&A. And welcome to everyone tuning in right now. I appreciate each and every one of your support. Matthew C, SpongeBob SquarePants, Skip on Down the Road. What a username. Bring Facts, Uber Hodler, Matthias, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, my apologies. Always a pleasure. Good to see y'all in the building. Sailing with Twins. Good to see you as well. I'm going to scroll to the top. We got lots of comments, which I love to see. Steve Kingston, welcome. Good analysis. Bring Facts thing has been running on the hot market. 100% likes thus far. Keep up the good work. I appreciate the support, family. You're awesome. Matthew says, just grinding. I've been having to watch the show on replay lately. Caught the end of the live show yesterday. Been busy. Glad I am here for the entire show today. And I greatly appreciate you tuning in for the live show as well, family. Yeah, man. There is about 48 billion left of Bitcoin on the exchanges, says Matthew C. 112 billion in just USDC, and Tether could buy all the remaining Bitcoin twice over just from Tether and USDC. That is absolutely crazy to fathom. You know what I mean? Yeah. So over 100 billion in long liquidations. That's a potential scenario, so keep that in mind. Yeah. I prefer Bitcoin rich. Yeah, I was pointing out earlier, I'd prefer to be Bitcoin rich and fiat poor versus fiat rich and Bitcoin poor. Steve says, I try to save coworkers from themselves, but none of them see the value of investing. They rely on their 401k. Flipping morons. And I just remind them that in 10 years, we'll see who the true morons or idiots are. Lawrence says in Australia, we can put money into our 401k and save on the income tax. Matthew says you can only share your knowledge. You can't give someone the capacity to understand it, Steve. That's right. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it. You know what I mean? Same goes for donkeys. Everyone still thinks I'm an idiot for heavy Bitcoin investment. We'll see who the real idiot is in 10 years. I think it's going to be the fiat holders, if you're to ask me. Show JV some love, boys and gals. I appreciate that. Tomorrow is going to be episode number 1200. Today is 1199. And cheers to the next 1199 episodes. I appreciate the super chat contribution. Lawrence Abramoff, you're the man. Thank you so very much. Renee, good morning. I'm going to ride this fake pump to $100,000, says Matthew C., as Renee is calling this a fake pump. Got cash on the side to buy more, Renee. Could go either way, says Steve Kingston. Anyone else holding Luna Classic? Great question. Anyone here currently holding Luna Classic? I've never held Luna or Luna Classic, so I'm not one of those guys. We won't see 100,000 until 2026, says Renee. Ouch. Anyone agree with him? Let me know. Matic bullish as what? Right now, so does Chainlink. Chainlink looks very bullish as well. Lawrence says, sailing with the twins, it is quite a bet for me, but annoying. It's not rather a large investment. Sailing says trading Luna Classic for Matic a week ago was the best move ever. Well done. Bring facts, morning all. Early today. Same ritual, smoking with y'all and the girls. They say hi. Pun intended. Matthew C., I appreciate the $11.99 super chat contribution for episode number 1199. You're the man, and looking forward to the next 1200 episodes. You got it. Yeah, man. It is what it is. JV, you're the man, hands down. You're the best crypto YouTuber out there. Thanks for all your hard work. That means a lot to me. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you, and I appreciate supporting the show every day. I'm here 7 days a week, including on Sundays. You know what I mean? Because it's my passion. I love what I do. And they say if you love what you do, you never truly work a day in your life. I feel blessed to be that man. So thank you for allowing me to fulfill my passion. You guys are awesome. I don't have that much. Lost it in a boating accident. I can relate. I literally lost my entire Bitcoin stash in an alien abduction last night. But what are you going to do? When the Greys attack, the Greys attack. They just said, hand me your Bitcoin and take me to your leader. And I reminded them, Earth has a very bad leader. You don't want me to take you to him. His name is Mr. Brandon Biden. And yeah, the aliens agreed. And they just said, give me your Bitcoin and we'll call it even. So I'm like, take it. Just leave me alone. You know what I mean? It's a sad day, but it is what it is. If you make the same mistake twice, though, you deserve the ridicule. All will be shocked what Bitcoin will do, not me. I know what's coming. So what's coming, Renee? Please enlighten us. And how do you know with such certainty that such a play is coming? Please tell me. Yes, lost everything in a boating accident. Oh, you too bring facts. Damn shame. Guns, ammo, silver, bump stock, girlfriend's key phrase. It was a houseboat. Oh, boy. So sad. Renee, don't you feel out here? The only negative one here. Still have a little upside, ATM Renee, but I'm prepared either way. At least 1,000 Bitcoin loss. You too, Lawrence? Man, sucks to be a hodler right now. We all losing our Bitcoin left and right. We know what's coming too, Renee. FUD, fake bans, more the same, then halving, then numbers go up, then FUD. Nothing new under the sun, right? Fam, I'll be listening. Need to walk back to the car and drive home. I appreciate you, Lawrence Abramoff. You're the man. No, Renee, I feel ya. Nothing goes in a straight line. Smashed it. I appreciate the super chat contributions. I appreciate the smash likes. I appreciate you hitting the bell icon. And for those of you who are new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out when I go live each and every day. Naked Elizabeth Warren dartboard goes out in the mail to JV tomorrow. Please do not send me a naked Elizabeth Warren dartboard. I may have to convince the aliens who just stole all of my Bitcoin to give me that back so I could give it to you, so you don't send me the naked Elizabeth Warren dartboard, which I don't want and is not welcome at my house, and I'm just telling you straight up. 25,000 Bitcoin by the end of the show. Well, we nailed it, so congratulations, you guys. We're above 25,000. I think we already hit 22.2 and some change. Polkadot apparently in the clear with the SEC. That might be helping it pump. It seems to be the case. Pocahontas, LOL. I saw a site that saw Cardano is too. I think they will allow the institutional coins to thrive. Just my opinion. Interesting, Matthew C. We just need crypto lobbyists. Put money in their hands and they'll sing your tunes. Facts bring facts. Cardano is in the process. It looks good, says Steve. Matthew says Link, Quant, XLM, XRP, Cardano, and Polkadot. Can't remember the other one that is okay with the SEC. Skip on down the road. JV, did you ever figure out if we evolve from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? Well, number one, I don't buy into that we evolve from monkeys. I believe God created us, not us evolution via Darwinism that we just elevated from a monkey. Sorry, but yeah, no one can explain to me anyone who believes in Darwinism, that what the bullshit we're taught in school. How do you explain that? Why are there still monkeys? Is that just basically, is that us 10,000 years ago? When you look at a monkey, are you seeing a human that just hasn't evolved fully yet? Is that what you see? Because when I look at a monkey, I see an animal, nothing to do with a human being. You know what I mean? But hey, that's just me. Quant is going to be the new motorcycle. Woohoo! Word up. I might trade those climate scam tokens. Imagine if Greta released her own climate tokens to save the and where is she with all the disasters going on in Ohio? One of the biggest disasters we have ever seen, and it looks like this was an inside job like all the other disasters we witness, and silent. It's not even being covered much on the mainstream, and it's one of the biggest disasters that our Earth has ever witnessed since Chernobyl. You know what I mean? Where's all the people who want to save the Earth? Why isn't nobody talking about this right now? Just goes to show you we're being attacked. You know what I mean? And it seems to be an inside job. Dance with the devil till the profit is good, then dump it for Bitcoin, says Steve. They have to create a problem or let one play out so they can bring in regulation to ruin. I mean, save the day. Facts, you nailed it. It asks to dance with the devil. You better say never, because a dance with the devil might last you forever. Immortal Technique. Shout out to Immortal Technique. I'm a huge fan. I miss him. I haven't listened to him in a minute. 25,000. That's right. We did it, fam, for the fourth time. And it seems that every time we climb higher, the dip is short-lived, and it makes the comeback that much stronger. I hope we can surpass, 25.3, blow past that. You know what I mean? And then I think the next resistance, big one, is going to be in the 27s before we hit $30,000. I remember I called $25,052 by the end of the show. Any other guesses? Well, you nailed it, fam. Much love. That strategy of buying altcoins, then dumping them to buy Bitcoin never works. Typically never does. Is what it is. That strategy of buying, Bitcoin will be worth twice as much fiat trash every day. It does seem that way. Steve Kingston says, Sponge, you have to hold the cash for months and months to buy it back on the low. Exactly why it doesn't work, says SpongeBob. Skip says, if we had diminishing returns, Bitcoin would not be able to sustain 2.3x gains every year. Mateus, 25.5. Send it. Let's get it. I have done it. ETH was 0.02 BTC. Then I bought and converted to Bitcoin at 0.085. It absolutely can be done. I also bought Ethereum, or acquired Ethereum, on the low. And this was back when it was trading at roughly under $100, I think March or April of 2020. Then more recently, a few months back, I converted a big portion of my Ether stash into Bitcoin. It worked out because Ether ended up outpacing Bitcoin, and I was able to stack sats. I can't say the same thing for all the other altcoin bags I have held. Some of them obviously didn't work out quite so well as Ethereum, but hey, it is what it is. No risk, no reward. I'm going to dump them for a quality of life sponge. They will outperform the US dollar. Bitcoin is savings. Altcoins are to be exchanged for fiat for quality of life for me. Yeah, Matthias is going to be the winner. Holy crap. 23,380 is a big macro resistance. I hope to see y'all profit. Speaking of apes, JV. Yeah, good question. It never dropped. Crypto Grady says DeFi Kingdoms Jewel. DFK team grinding. I appreciate that super chat contribution. You guys are absolutely awesome. Statwise Jenks. Better to be late to the party than to not be here. So welcome. Good to see you. The fallacy of linear evolution is most clearly illustrated by the analogy of asking, how can I share common grandparents with my cousins if my cousins and my grandparents are still alive? Things that make you go, In the last 3 or 4 years, the swap would have only worked with Ethereum, Solana, and Matic. I mean, there's a few else out there, but as far as the top cryptos are concerned, there's only a handful of them. Preach. And with that being shared, fam, now for a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show, we discussed the latest technical analysis. We witnessed Bitcoin rise on up to $25,000. We also discussed ShapeShift responding to Senator Elizabeth Warren's comments to set the record straight. We also discussed how the Bitcoin Ordinals movement will benefit the Bitcoin blockchain with the NFT craze. We discussed the SEC Clampdown has crypto space abuzz as Pantera Capital says we're in a bull market, and much more. We also discussed the latest with the Brazilian government to clarify the Bitcoin law with a new decree. We also discussed top trader Justin Bennett warning that Bitcoin could witness $100 billion in cascading long liquidations. I also shared the bullish scenario that we can likely see a $120,000 to $150,000 Bitcoin price peak sometime in 2025. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show, episode 1200.